Kindness on a rainy day cloud with rain yellow heart. The rain had been falling since morning, soft at first, then louder, as if the sky had decided to empty all its worries at once. Streets shimmered like mirrors, umbrellas bloomed everywhere, and people hurried along with their heads down, eager to escape the cold drizzle. At a small bus stop near the corner bakery, Ion stood waiting, water dripping from the edge of his jacket. The bus was late, again. As he shifted his weight, he noticed an elderly woman standing a few steps away. She had no umbrella, only a thin shawl pulled tightly around her shoulders. Her hands trembled, not just from the cold, but from exhaustion. Without thinking much, Ion stepped closer and tilted his umbrella so it covered them both. "Thank you, Beta," she said softly, surprise and relief in her eyes. They stood there in silence as the rain continued its steady rhythm. Ion learned she was heading to the hospital to visit her sister and had missed her earlier bus. The wait felt shorter somehow, lighter. When the bus finally arrived, it was crowded. People squeezed in, eager to get out of the rain. Ion helped the woman climb aboard and offered her his seat. She hesitated, then smiled, placing her hand gently on his head in blessing. "May your kindness return to you when you need it most." Later that evening, soaked and tired, Ion stopped by the same bakery. The shopkeeper waved him over with a grin and handed him a warm cup of tea. "Someone paid for you," he said. "Said you shared an umbrella when you didn't have to." Ion held the cup, warmth spreading through his hands and into his chest. Outside, the rain still fell, but it felt softer now. Sometimes, kindness doesn't stop the rain. It just makes the walk through it warmer. The rain didn't stop that night. It softened at times, then returned with quiet persistence, tapping on rooftops and whispering against windows. Ion walked home slowly, the warm cup of tea still lingering in his hands and heart. The bakery's yellow light faded behind him, but the feeling it left refused to go away. At home, the electricity flickered. His mother lit a small candle and placed it near the window. Outside, the street looked different in the rain, lonelier somehow. Puddles reflected broken lights, and the usual noise of the neighborhood had settled into silence. The next morning, the rain returned before sunrise. Roads flooded, shops opened late, and buses ran slower than ever. As Ion stepped outside, he spotted a young boy standing near a waterlogged footpath, shoes soaked, school bag clutched tightly to his chest. The boy stared at the muddy water, unsure how to cross. Ion remembered the umbrella, the woman's smile, the warmth of that unexpected tea. He walked over and held his umbrella out again. "Come on," he said gently. "We'll cross together." They hopped carefully from dry stone to stone. When they reached the other side, the boy's face lit up like the sun had finally broken through the clouds. "Thank you," he said, running off toward his school. Later that day, the rain grew heavier. Traffic stalled. People argued. Tempers flared. At the same bus stop, Ion noticed a man struggling with a stalled motorcycle, rain soaking his clothes. Without hesitation, Ion and two others stepped forward. They pushed the bike to the side of the road, hands slipping, shoes muddy, but heart steady. The man laughed in disbelief. "I thought everyone was in too much of a hurry today." Ion smiled. "Sometimes the rain slows us down for a reason." By evening, news spread through the neighborhood. The elderly from the bus stop had reached the hospital safely. Her sister was stable. She had told everyone about the young man who shared his umbrella and seat. People began looking at one another differently, holding doors a little longer, sharing rides, offering dry towels and warm words. The rain still fell, stubborn and unending. But something else was spreading too. A quiet kindness, moving from one heart to another, like ripples in a puddle, proving that even the longest rain can't drown a good deed. By the third day, the rain had turned the neighborhood into a maze of puddles and patience. Drains overflowed, shoes never fully dried, and the sky stayed wrapped in heavy gray. Yet something unusual had begun to bloom beneath the clouds. People were noticing one another. Ion woke early to the sound of water rushing outside. A narrow lane near his home had flooded, trapping a few families inside. Without waiting to be asked, he rolled up his trousers and stepped into the water. Soon, others joined. Someone brought ropes, another carried planks, and a shopkeeper handed out plastic bags to protect phones and documents. An old man slipped, and before fear could take hold, two strangers caught him by the arms. Laughter followed, cutting through the tension like sunlight. For a moment, the rain felt less powerful than the unity standing against it. Near noon, the hospital called Ion's house. The elderly woman from the bus stop had asked for him. When he arrived, rain still dripping from his sleeves, she smiled as if she had been waiting for a familiar light. "I didn't even know your name that day," she said. "Ion," he replied softly. She told him her sister would be discharged soon. "Your kindness didn't just help me," she said. "It reminded me to hope on a hard day." As Ion left the hospital, the clouds finally began to thin. The rain slowed into a gentle mist, and for the first time in days, a pale line of sunlight touched the road. People paused to look up, faces softened, breaths lighter. Back in the neighborhood, children splashed in shallow puddles while adults watched with tired but grateful smiles. Umbrellas were shared. Tea was passed from hand to hand. Strangers who had once hurried past each other now stopped to talk. Ion stood quietly, observing it all. He realized something then: kindness hadn't arrived with the rain, and it wouldn't leave when the skies cleared. It had simply been revealed, like colors made brighter after a storm. That evening, as the last clouds drifted away, the street glowed under the soft orange of sunset. The rain was gone, but its lesson remained. Sometimes, it takes a storm to show us how much warmth we carry within us all.